Conservative political commentator Gina Loudon and Democratic strategist Michael Starr Hopkins. Good to see you both.
Thanks for having
Gina,
us.
you know, the criticism was that he didn't say this over the weekend, and some are saying, okay, this is basically too little too late. Why did it take him so long to come out and actually specifically condemn these groups?
There is nothing this president can ever do, Trish, that is going to please his haters. The deep state does not like that this president is in place, and that nothing he can do will change that. Had he come out right away, Trish, I would maintain that if he'd come out and said exactly the things he's now said that everyone demanded he say, they would have said, oh, he's elevating these groups. So he can't win with them.
Is that true, Michael? I mean, you know, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't.
No, absolutely not. It took him 2 minutes to come out and attack the CEO of Merck when he resigned from the president's committee. This was simple. This is a layup for the president. Nazis are bad. Racism is bad. We support all members of this country. It was that easy, but he couldn't say it because...
Well, of course he believes that.
Well,
of course he believes.
How do you say of course he believes that?
It's the Republicans who have always maintained that stand historically. So of course he believes that.
But when
that's
you say
why
of
he's
course,
a Republican.
What makes you say of course? He spent an entire election winking and nodding at the worst parts of the Republican Party.
No, it's the Republican. I say that because he chose Republicans. He chose to be a Republican.
Hang on, Gina. So Michael, you think that he's somehow still telegraphing something in your view, and that this is something he's done all along?
Yeah, I mean, this is a president who has done a wink and a nod at the alt-right. We have Steve Bannon as a member of the White House who started Breitbart, a company that says they are the party of the alt-right. They are the news source of the alt-right. This is a president.
Is that right, Gina?
You know, that's a label that I don't think anyone actually even knows what it means, myself included. And I will say that the Republicans have historically and always defended equal rights. It is the Democrats that started the KKK, let's remember. Let's remember that Nazis are a leftist socialist organization. That is absolutely. Abraham Lincoln was a what? He was a Republican. And this president chose to run on this ticket because Republicans are historically the party of freedom and civil rights.
We should point out, he did come out over the weekend and say that this was horrible and that this violence was horrible. But the sticking point was basically that he didn't label the actual groups.
And he drew false equivalencies, which is unhelpful.
Forgive me, what did you say, Michael?
He drew false equivalencies by saying that this event was comparative to Black Lives Matter or to some other organization, and it's not. There weren't black groups attacking white groups. There were Nazis, neo-Nazis, and alt-right members attacking members of the clergy and people standing up for the rights of African Americans and black and brown people. And that wasn't, there is no equivalency for that.
Gina.
Trish, this event should have, this whole last couple of days should have been about the victims. It should not have been about a political agenda to try to undermine this administration. I am very sad for these families and for the victims and frankly for our citizenry that they decided to politicize this instead of talk about the real issue.
I agree with you on that because all of this becomes so politicized, and the problem that we've now got in this country is that we are facing these divisions thanks to identity politics, which frankly has been, you know, right out of the left's playbook for years. And you think about the districting and redistricting that has happened in so many counties in this country, and that's a real problem. A problem that, by the way, I'll point out that Justice Clarence Thomas cited in 1994 in one decision. Holder versus Hall, he said, as a practical political matter, our drive to segregate political districts by race can only serve to deepen racial divisions by destroying any need for voters or candidates to build bridges between racial groups or to form voting coalitions. Gina, how much has identity politics and the redistricting of America played a role in what we now see?
It is 100%. It has put us where we are, Trish, and it's devastating because we really do want unity. The unity that this president, that our vice president talked about over the weekend, that is what most Americans are fighting for. That is why they elected a presidential candidate that wasn't being divisive. All Hillary Clinton talked about and what lost for her was identity politics, breaking people up into little groups so that you can control them.
So it's more the same now.
It is Democrat politics 101. It is.
Michael?
let's just reaffirm the Voting Rights Act. I think that's a perfect softball way to end this conversation. Voting rights and everyone's ability to vote.
But Michael, what I'm talking about, though, is all this redistricting that's happened, and where basically you have segregated populations, and thus there's a certain political appeal that gets driven into these messages on perhaps both sides. I mean, and it's just wrong. We are now in a state where instead of coming together as a nation, we're increasingly coming apart, and I blame politics for that.
And I agree with you. We need to go back and combat how the lines were drawn. The Supreme Court actually has gone back and struck down the redistricting in Texas and Florida, making it so that we need to have more balanced districts. That's absolutely something I support.
Good. All right, Gina, Michael, I'm going to see you guys in a little bit. Don't go anywhere.